Hey folks, welcome to Shooting Up North. I'm your host, Lewis Carlin. We're heard right here on the Alliance Pro Wrestling Network. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today is the debut episode of AEW Rampage, and it will be Kenny Omega defending the Impact Wrestling World Championship against Christian Cage. Everyone's excited about this match. I have a little bit of an issue with it. Because I know what's going to happen in this match. Christian Cage is going to defeat Kenny Omega for the Impact Wrestling World Championship. I didn't think it was possible, but talking to my friend BQ over at the Impact Lounge, and he kind of put that thought in my ear, that idea in my ear. And I'm thinking, at first I was like, no, that's not going to do that. But then I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, yes, actually, I think they're going to do that because Christian Cage also has a shot at the AEW World Championship at All Out. And they're not going to have Kenny Omega defeat Christian Cage tonight on AEW Rampage and then go ahead with the match at All Out. That wouldn't make any sense. It wouldn't. The fans' interest would definitely be depleted if Kenny Omega defeated Christian Cage tonight. But if Christian Cage defeats Kenny Omega for the Impact Wrestling World Championship, that, hey, wait a minute, the fans' interest is going to skyrocket because Christian Cage has got a victory over Kenny Omega, and now he's the new Impact Wrestling World Champion, and he gets to bring the belt back to the Impact Zone. And Christian Cage actually was being interviewed yesterday by an AEW announcer holding an Impact Wrestling microphone. God forbid they had an Impact Wrestling personality interview Christian Cage, but it was okay. But it was done in AEW. So the AEW, I don't remember the guy's name, but he's fixture on AEW. His name escapes me, but he's an AEW backstage interviewer, I should say, and he's holding an Impact Wrestling microphone, and he interviewed Christian Cage yesterday on Impact Wrestling. Christian Cage was like saying Impact Wrestling, he's praising Impact Wrestling for what it's done for him in his career, and he owes it to the Impact Wrestling fans and to Impact Wrestling to win that Impact Wrestling title. And he's going to be in the Impact Zone next week, and of course he's going to be in the Impact Zone, and of course he's going to be the Impact Wrestling World Champion in the Impact Zone next week. So and he's going to be defending it against Brian Myers. That's to me, that's a foregone conclusion. I think there's a 99% chance that's going to happen. My issue with it is this: why does it have to be Christian Cage? Yes, okay, they want to build up that AEW match, the all-out match for the AEW World Title, but why build it up at Impact Wrestling's expense? Why can't it be an Impact Wrestling wrestler? Maybe they could have a non-title match between Christian Cage and Kenny Omega, maybe on Dynamite on Tuesday or whatever, and Christian Cage gets a victory over Kenny Omega. Why does it have to be for the Impact Wrestling World Title? Why does the Impact Wrestling World Title have to be at the forefront of that? Why can't it be an Impact Wrestling wrestler? Why isn't it Moose? Why isn't it Sami Callihan? Why can't they show up on AEW Dynamite and challenge for the Impact Wrestling World Title? Why can't it be one of them? Why can't it be Eddie Edwards? Why does it have to be another AEW wrestler? You know what that's saying? It's saying, oh, okay, you know, if Christian Cage defeats, I should say, when he defeats Kenny Omega for the Impact Wrestling World Title, it's kind of like saying, well, Impact Wrestling doesn't have anybody good enough to beat Kenny Omega, so it's going to have to be another AEW wrestler to take the Impact Wrestling title off of Kenny Omega. So it's going to be an AEW wrestler taking the Impact Wrestling title off for another AEW wrestler. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to me. Why does it have to be Christian Cage? Yes, okay, the great history Christian Cage has with Impact Wrestling. A TNA, he came in, was a star, a former NWA champion. I believe he was a TNA champion as well, and very popular when he was in TNA. But he says he's I don't remember word for it, but he's kind of saying that he's doing it for the fans. Wants to do it for the fans of Impact Wrestling. Do any fan in Impact Wrestling? When was the last time you saw a tweet from an Impact Wrestling fan that said, oh man, I hope Christian Cage could somehow get that Impact Wrestling World Title back? Do the fans really want Christian Cage as the Impact Wrestling World Title? Me personally, I think it should be Moose. I think Moose should have defeated Kenny Omega already for the Impact Wrestling World Title. What happened to the whole, we got to win it back for Impact Wrestling? I thought that's the storyline they were going with. I know Moose said they cut a whole promo. Moose cut a whole promo on that, Like, we got to win the title back for Impact Wrestling. I'm going to bring it back to Impact Wrestling. What happened to that storyline? What happened to that storyline? Sami Callihan failed, but now it's like, oh, the Impact Wrestling, the talent isn't good enough to beat Kenny Omega, so it's got to be another AEW wrestler. With some history in Impact Wrestling to make it seem, ooh, like the fans like, ooh, Christian Cage, former Impact Wrestling wrestler, winning it back for Impact Wrestling, and now another AEW wrestler is going to show up in the Impact Zone with the Impact Wrestling World Title. Ooh, who's going to defeat Christian Cage? And plus, Kenny Omega is a heel. Kenny Omega is a heel. Christian Cage is a face, so there goes the whole storyline on we got to win it back for Impact Wrestling, because Christian Cage is a baby face. He's there to do it. He's not there to piss anybody off. But still, the fact of the matter is the AEW wrestler. Now again, I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. It just wouldn't make sense for Kenny Omega to defeat Christian Cage, successfully defend the Impact Wrestling World Title against Christian Cage, and then go to All Out and successfully defend the title and successfully defend the AEW title, because he's not going to lose the AEW title to Christian Cage. So I really think it's 99.9% chance that Christian, even if there's some outside interference, I still think Christian Cage is gonna. I think maybe Scott D'Amore will interfere somehow, or maybe an Impact Wrestling star will show up. That's not Carl Anderson or Luke Gallows on AEW Dynamite and assist Christian Cage for the victory over Kenny Omega. Oh, goodness gracious, that idea. How about that idea? How about another Impact Wrestling star show up on AEW Dynamite? I mean, there was one other, was Father Mitchell. He conducted a wedding, and that was the only other Impact Wrestling star that showed up on AEW Dynamite. I mean, they want to. I mean, we've had the Impact Wrestling tag team titles defended on AEW. We're going to have now the Impact Wrestling World title defended on AEW, but we don't want to bring any AEW stars. I'm sorry, we don't want to bring any Impact Wrestling stars on AEW Dynamite unless it's the Good Brothers, unless it's Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows. And we're going to sign them in a few months anyway, so might as well make it seem like they work here anyway, right? So, but why not? Why can't we have that? But I don't know, like the whole thing with Moose. Moose had a great match against Kenny Omega, and the Young Bucks got involved, and they treated to win. I thought Moose, after re-signing with Impact Wrestling, he was like, they were going to go, okay, Moose is our guy. And what happens? His first match, he loses to Chris Sabin. He got the win back, yes, and then he's in the Battle Royal, and he gets eliminated by Brian Myers. Well, him and Chris Sabin got eliminated together, but still, Brian Myers is now gets a shot at the Impact Wrestling World title. So what are they doing with Moose? He should be in the forefront of this. He should be leading the pack for Impact Wrestling. He should be the leader of Impact Wrestling right now, trying to get that Impact Wrestling World title back. And it should be going around the waist of Moose, not Christian Cage. And again, if I'm wrong, if we find out tonight it doesn't happen, I'm wrong. I'm allowed to be wrong. I'm not perfect, but this is how I think it's going down, and a lot of people agree with me. So this is how I think it's going down. I don't like it. I would rather see an Impact Wrestling star step up and win the title from Kenny Omega. I don't know. Maybe Kenny Omega doesn't want to lose for an Impact Wrestling star, an Impact Wrestling talents, I should say. I don't know that. I can't speculate that because I don't know the facts on that, but still, it should definitely be Moose, or at least Eddie Edwards, somebody from Impact Wrestling, Josh Alexander. I mean, they're teasing Josh Alexander going after Kenny Omega and the Impact Wrestling World title. That kind of cooled down a little bit. I think they were teasing it for a bit. I think that's kind of cooled down, and I think this is the route they're going. So I don't know. Maybe we'll see Christian Cage defend against Josh Alexander down the road. I don't know if Christian Cage in fact does win tonight, and I do think it's a 99.9% chance that Christian Cage defeats Kenny Omega, whether there's outside interference or whatever. But I do believe that. He defeats Kenny Omega tonight for the Impact Wrestling World Championship, and he shows up at the Impact Wrestling Zone. Because why would he show up at the Impact? He says he's going to be at the Impact Wrestling Zone next week. Why would he be at the Impact Wrestling Zone if he wasn't winning the Impact Wrestling World Title? He's got to be there for the next set of tapings, right? Because he's the champion, right? So he's got to defend against Brian Myers at Emergence. He's got to I don't know, maybe defend, maybe do a couple of promos, in the ring, maybe be involved in a tag team match. But why else would he be at the next set of tapings if he wasn't coming in as the Impact Wrestling World Champion? But I don't know. I don't know why it's not Moose. It should definitely be Moose. Well, maybe Moose steps up, and maybe Moose is the one that defeats if Christian Cage does in fact win, and maybe Moose is the one that steps up and defeats Christian Cage to win the Impact Wrestling World Title. But Moose should be the guy. Moose should be the guy that takes off Kenny Omega. That's my opinion. All right, let's move on to something else. Ric Flair. Ric Flair, according to SE Scoops, is expected to sign with AEW. No surprise there. I'm sure they could throw a lot of money at him. Ric Flair loves money. Throw a lot of money at Ric Flair. It says wrestling legend Ric Flair is considered to be a lock to be joining AEW, according to Dave Meltzer in the latest Wrestling Observer newsletter. Well, nothing has been announced. The word going around is that it seems to be a lock. Ric Flair will be heading to AEW when he is legally able to, according to Meltzer. He said on a recent episode of Wrestling Observer Radio, it was also mentioned that Flair and Tony Khan are longtime friends. As per Dave Meltzer, Rick had a great contract with the WWE. It was exceptional. Ric Flair is also friends with Tony Khan. I mean, they've been friends for years. And Ric Flair says that he'll never retire. And the rumors going around, I know Booker T was talking about it, that Ric Flair wants to get back in the ring again. He wants to have another in-ring run. 72 years old. I don't think you should get in the ring anymore. I mean, what is he going to do? Is he going to challenge? Is he going to challenge Kenny Omega for the AEW World Title? Is he going to? Are they going to bring in Nick Gage, and it's going to be another a death match? Nick Gage against Ric Flair. I love Ric Flair. He's an absolute legend in professional wrestling. Hopefully, these are just rumors. I hope he never steps in the ring again. I mean, he does seem to be in pretty good shape, but at 72 years old, I think, and he even said that he will never retire. Ric Flair said, "I'll never retire." I just hope we never see him in the ring again. Again, if this was 1985, I would love to see a Ric Flair match, but this is 2021, and I think his time has come and gone. Again, he's an absolute legend, one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. And I just don't think we should see him in the ring anymore. And I hope if he does sign with AEW, or I should say if AEW signs him, because if AEW offers him a contract, he's going to boom, sign it like that. But if AEW does sign Ric Flair, I hope there's a stipulation that says you can't wrestle in the ring. We're not going to put you in the ring. You could be a manager. If you want to run with Tully Blanchard and Arn Anderson, if you want to manage somebody, that's cool. If you want to join Andrade's little gang, that's great. You could be their spokesperson, but don't buy don't buy any ring attire. Don't order another $5,000 robe. Forget about the Lear jets. Just put Space Mountain on hold, because it's not happening in 2021. In 2021, I hope they worded exactly like that in the contract. Again, love Ric Flair. They're one of the absolute greatest wrestlers of all time. I just hope we never see him in the ring again. I think he could get very, very hurt. Was he going to take a double super kick from the Young Bucks? Is he gonna take a coffin dive from Darby Allin? Are they gonna have a coffin match? Is he gonna wrestle Arn Anderson? I don't know. I hope we never see him in the ring again. Love you, Ric Flair, but I hope you use this. And you don't think of this, right? You don't think of, I got this. You got this too. Use this, not this. And that's that. All right. Well, last thing to discuss. and I hate doing this, right? Because I was just talking about the assassin passing away, and I was just talking about Bobby Eaton passing away. Two legends. Another legend of professional wrestling has passed away at the age of 89. I'm talking about Dominic Denucci. Dominic Denucci, absolute legend in professional wrestling. When I started watching wrestling, Denucci was a star in the 60s and early 70s. He held the WWF tag team titles on a number of occasions. When I started watching wrestling, Dominic Denucci was kind of enhancement talent. He would do good in the ring, but it would eventually he would lose at the end. He would, like, if they were trying to build up like a Ken Patera, or if they're trying to build up a Hulk Hogan, Dominic Denucci would be the opponent, give them a tough match, but he would always lose at the end. So that's the Dominic Denucci that I saw. But I was always a Denucci fan. He always gave it his all. And I've watched many Denucci matches, and like I grew up watching Denucci. Whether it, I remember Sonya Slaughter, the Pat Patterson taking the Cobra Clutch challenge, and Slaughter, after Pat Patterson escaped, he started attacking Sonya Slaughter started attacking Pat Patterson, and Denucci came to the rescue. Denucci picked up a chair and started walloping Slaughter in the back with a chair, and the fans were going wild. I remember I was so happy for Dominic Denucci. I was cheering. I was, hit him again, Dominic, hit him again, hit him again. Such great memories. And he took on Hulk Hogan a couple of times, lost, of course. I got to see him wrestle live once at Nassau Coliseum against Stan Hansen. It was Stan and Larry Hansen against Dominic Denucci. The match was about 2 minutes long. Stan Hansen just ran right over Denucci. Denucci started off hot, but then Stan Hansen won rather quickly. It was under 5 minute match. It was an under 5 minute match, but that was the one time I got to see Dominic Denucci live. So yeah, I just want to say thanks for the memories, Dominic. 89 years old. He lived a good long life. He's obviously kept himself in good shape, living to 89. And so I want to say rest in peace, Dominic, and thank you for the memories. Thank you very much. And again, rest in peace. You deserve it, my friend. Okay, on that note, I'm going to say thank you very much for listening to me today. I'm Lewis Carlin. This is the Alliance Pro Wrestling Network. This is Shooting Up North on the Alliance Pro Wrestling Network. And until next time, thank you very much. Take care. Bye-bye. And stay safe, everyone. So long. Bye-bye.